You changed because you had no choice. Pain made it for you. Confusing? Sometimes change doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from pain. Not when you are ready, but when you are forced to rise. Not because you want to evolve, but because staying the same starts to burn more than moving forward. That moment, raw, uncomfortable, undeniable, is when your transformation truly begins. Sometimes change doesn't come by choice. It comes when you have had enough, when silence becomes too loud, when the pain overweights the fear. That is the moment your change begins. Say you have always showed up for everyone, but when you needed someone, nobody came. The hurt of being used cracked you open. That is when you stopped overgiving and started valuing yourself. If these lines feel like echoes of your own story, then this moment is no coincidence. Let it lead you back home to yourself. Stay with the journey. In 1967, at the peak of his career, Muhammad Ali refused to be drafted into the Vietnam War, citing his religious beliefs and moral objections. He famously said, "I ain't got no quarrel with them, Viet Cong." For that stance, he was arrested, stripped of his heavyweight title, and banned from boxing over 3 years. During what would have been his prime, he lost millions in earnings. Sponsors disappeared. He became one of the most criticized figures in America. But Ali stood firm in his values. He refused to betray his conscience, even when it cost him everything. That suffering elevated him from a sports icon to a global symbol of courage, dignity, and conviction. When he returned to the ring, he wasn't just a fighter. He was a man who had fought for what mattered the most. The world saw his strength, not just in his fists, but his willingness to suffer for his truth. That pain didn't break him. It built his legend. Robert Downey Jr. Addiction and Errors. At one point, Robert Downey Jr.'s career was on the verge of total collapse. His battle with drug addiction led to multiple arrests, stints in jail, and public humiliation. He was labeled unreliable and uninsurable. Hollywood had nearly given up on him, but after hitting the rock bottom, he made the difficult decision to get clean and reclaim his life. Through discipline, therapy, and relentless effort, he turned his life around. But then came Iron Man. What once looked like the end became the beginning of a legendary comeback. He didn't just revive his career, he redefined it. Robert Downey Jr. didn't just survive his struggles, he transformed them into the very force that rebuilt him into the foundation of a greater rise. Proof that even from the lowest point, a new legacy can begin. Make it a fruitful day.